Born large, meaning that you're already strong because of your sheer size, but also being those rare beings that can use the ultimate Haki, a super technique, mysterious power that not everybody can use. Conqueror's Haki, she can use that too. Oh boy, genetic lottery. Big Mom of the One Piece universe is a prime example of a character that was born with elite genetics and took advantage of this jumpstart advantage over everybody else. Because, you know, there's different beings in the universe. You got normal sized people in the One Piece universe, but you got a lot of beings that are born with genetic advantages, like being born taller than or larger than average people. Those people have genetic advantages, one could say. Kind of like how there's different races of characters, like fishmen, for example, are born stronger than your average human. So they got like a genetic advantage. That doesn't mean humans can't surpass them. It's just right out the womb, they got a strength advantage. Just like in One Piece, there's beings that are literally born giants. So you would guess if some human was born and then a giant was born, a giant would obviously have the physical strength advantage just from sheer size and the muscle being literally larger. One could say Big Mama took full advantage of this aspect. Like I'm talking about, she's literally 5 years old and she's ginormous compared to average humans. So her strength has to be incredible just from her sheer size alone. She's massive, even as a little baby, 5-year-old. And later on, of course, she gets stronger as time goes by. In the One Piece universe, she's considered one of the strongest beings in the world, despite her being a woman, with one of the higher bounties. And the bounties in One Piece can kind of give you an idea of their threat level or a character's combat abilities to the government. So it lets you know how strong she is. She's got one of the highest bounties ever in the world. But she did have a jump start more than your average human when it comes to strength. I mean, even when she was freaking young, her bounty was 50 million. And as time went by, of course, her getting stronger, probably off-screen training that we don't see, ends up becoming 500 million. Oh yeah, she's got a lot of kids. She's got a large pirate crew. And before she made this crew, she was a part of the same ship as some powerful pirates. Yes, I know it's hard to believe Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world before he died, was on the same crew with Big Mom and freaking Kaido, two of the strongest beings currently. Some of this could be part of the reason why she's so strong. I mean, she's been hanging around strong people for a very long time. No telling how many training sessions they've had off screen. Yeah, her looks went through some drastic changes, just like how she's gotten stronger as time went by. Her power level has changed over time. So don't be surprised if you see these different looks throughout the video. Her being even slim or young looking at times. This is technically how she looks normally currently, but she seems to have this weird eating disorder to where she will get skinny real bad if she doesn't eat for a certain amount of time. I'm gonna call this starved Big Mom. Like, she looks a little different. She's weakened physically and stuff. Big Mom likes to eat, so it's natural in this universe. She's one of those beings that have ate, you know it, a devil fruit. These mysterious fruits that give characters superpowers. Big Mama is very haxy. She's practically a soul manipulator type character because of this fruit. Like, this scan literally shows her sucking or taking lifespans out of beings, shortening their life itself. Or she can just take your entire lifespan. Matter of fact, I'll let him say it right here. She's able to freely interact with people's souls. She takes some time out of the citizens' lifespans and sprinkles those human souls all throughout the island. Once this is done, the soul settles into random objects or things and they end up getting humanized. That's why when you go in her territory, there's a whole bunch of alive, inanimate objects like hills and trees, like, yeah, making homies. It may be hard to believe, but she can actually be injured. Like, there's some haxy characters in One Piece, like characters that can hurt you from the inside out. But don't worry, she's a top tier. She's thought of things like this to rare conditions where her arm gets broken. Thanks to soul manipulation, consuming her own lifespan, she can heal her own bones. It's that simple. And thanks to Big Mama's devil fruit, she can make her main standard gear stuff alive. They're called like special homies. Like, her sword is actually alive. It has a big fragment of her power. So her gear that she uses is actually like part of her, but they're kind of alive and got their own personality. But if you disobey her, she can extract the soul out of those same objects. So she's still the queen. Funny enough, one of her standard gears actually turned on her. And they actually went to Nami. Isn't that funny? But it doesn't matter to Big Mom because Big Mom can just make a replacement cloud that can do pretty much the same stuff. Her doing this kind of essentially gives her like versatility, like being able to produce lightning, fire, so energy projection thanks to this soul ability, making her gear alive. Yeah, so don't be surprised when I bring up lightning and fiery stuff in this video. Yeah, she can project both of them thanks to her gear. That's alive. That's a part of her technically. Oh yeah, same with her sword, Napoleon. Yeah, she's a swordsman too. Even though she doesn't need gear, her hands are enough. She can technically combine her stuff to where they can burn and cut. Yeah, she's kind of scary. She can summon special homies like this. Yeah, run. This is basically combining flames and lightning together into a form. On top of all this devil fruit stuff I've already talked about, she knows how to do the thing all the top tiers can do in this universe, manifest their inner energy or Haki, this mysterious ability that technically anybody can learn, but not everybody trains their skills up to be able to learn these techniques. But she's one of the top tier at best users of these techniques of this universe. It's when a character manifests invisible armor. They animate it for us to make it look black. Big Mama's, you see in this image, it looks black. But it's one of those techniques to where even if you already have superhuman strength, it can make your strikes even harder. Same with your defense and your durability. Get good enough with it, you can hit beings from the inside out, stuff like that. There's different types of Haki that everybody can learn. That's the normal Haki, but she has all the major Hakis. Even some you can't learn, she's just gifted. With the super rare Conqueror's Haki, where only 1 out of 1,000,000 gets this Haki. She got this too. One can even theorize she's such a top tier with her Haki because her durability is never really explained that well other than her just being big. There's implications that her Haki is, one can argue, it's always on for the most part, like passive. All these cannot penetrate her tough skin for unknown reasons. Talked about how she just doesn't get hurt. People haven't even seen her get a scratch. Like, this makes me think this is Haki because if her emotions suffer, then her durability goes down. So it lets you know her body isn't just always tough when she's sleeping. So I'm thinking it's got something to do with her Haki always being constantly on more than other characters. Something that might be unique to her Haki or something. What do y'all think about this? But then you can tell when she's really trying to amp up her Haki when you see her hands go black like this when they animate it. You see what I mean? Anywho, this Conqueror's Haki that not everybody can do, she can do this to knock out beings without even being in her vicinity. If you're not somebody with crazy willpower, you would just instantly get knocked out without her having to touch you. And they never really went over it when it comes to her. It's a fair assumption that she can probably do Conqueror's Haki infusion, like imbuing her fist with this Conqueror's Haki energy to increase her attacks even further than more than normal people can. Because you can produce this energy outwardly in every direction, but also do like Ornament Haki infusion, but with Conqueror's Haki. I don't think she'll be able to clash with Kaido if she didn't have Conqueror's Haki infusion, but that's none of my business. There's like a common theme in One Piece when characters split the sky, like I'm talking about splitting the clouds, like how Big Mama can do and Kaido can do, like other Yonkos do this too. It's implied you have to be able to use Conqueror's Haki coding or infusion to be able to do this to the clouds. But the thing about Haki, like, don't be surprised if I don't say the word Haki a lot in this video when she's punching or attacking characters in this video, because it's not like the show says every single time she's using it. There's times where she might not say she's using it, or the show might not say she's using it, that she's using it. You know what I mean? It's invisible armor. So a lot of the times they're not going to tell us, you know. Kind of use your imagination when she's using it. More than likely against the top tier, she's probably using it though. Saying she can lift is an oversimplification. You see what she does when she's not even at her best. She's starving and ripping up the Sunny, the Straw Hat ship, with just her muscle. This character right here, Queen, look how big he looks compared to normal sized humans yet again. I'm doing this on purpose because when this being actually transforms, because he has a devil fruit too, despite this being's massive size, Big Mama can lift them up and slam heavy beings like this, despite the size difference. Size means nothing. Friendly reminder of her size compared to normal sized humans. And the scary part is she can lift bigger things than her actual weight, even though she should be strong from her size by default. She can actually lift more weight than her size. She literally can lift up stuff way bigger than herself, like this big old peanut house. Like, she can literally lift buildings, basically, one could say, with her raw strength. Is this power or what? So now that you know she can swing around all that stuff, it's no wonder she can punch or hit hard, right? Should have guessed that, right? She's strong enough, like when she was real young, 5 years old, this is why I told you earlier about her genetics. She smacked and killed a bear. I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old wasn't training with her strength. I'm pretty sure this is just natural strength from her genetics. It's even reiterated, a single blow. She can accidentally break your bones, even if you're giant beings like her. When she's trying to smack a mosquito, she broke their bones smacking them. Yo, that's a lot of weight behind her hits. She broke a sword with a strike at real young, an arm stronger than a giant's blade. Yeah, she be having her Doomsday Hulk out moments where she doesn't know what she's doing, and she just goes berserk and slams beings. She can easily cut through trees like butter with her sword. Look at this big hole she can just cause. I mean, the weight of her swings are so crazy. Even when she sleeps, she can cause this much collateral. And even when beings use their devil fruits to make a giant castle known as the Big Father, that's even bigger than her own body, you can kind of see a clear size comparison. So this thing is clearly bigger than Big Mom. It's literally like a building size thing, but she can still break pieces of it off. This kind of proves she can do damage to building size structures. Her punches being able to level buildings really shouldn't be a surprise at this point. This should go for her younger self too. She should have no problem slicing a building literally in half. It lets you know the power gap between some cannonballs. Like, cannonballs can hit this Big Father without a scratch, but not Big Mom's punches. She's literally like a weapon of mass destruction when she's going in her mindless berserk mode. It was even talked about if she was left unchecked, she can mess up all of Toto Land. Don't forget that Toto Land is literally 30 plus islands. She can do what Zoro can do and do them long range sword slice attacks to cover a wide area of effect with her slices. I mean, look how much radius this swing does. Yeah, the big chunk of the land. Just to give you a real understanding of her power level, like, yeah, she's a pirate, but yeah, Navy people, The only beings that can really threaten her are beings up here in the ranks, but just to give an idea of the power levels when it comes to how hard beings can punch in this universe, like even beings way down here, even though he's an exceptionally strong captain rank, lower tier beings like this can even do stuff like damage beings that are literally islands themselves and damage things that are mountain sized, like the arms of beings. Beings this low in the Navy hierarchy are this strong when it comes to punching power via Haki and all that stuff put together. In a weird way, this can kind of give you an idea of the hierarchy. That mountain shattering in One Piece is just ridiculously pathetic. Honestly, lower tiers like this can shatter mountains into smithereens, beings way down here in the hierarchy. And we're not going to get on how many times Luffy, the main character, got overpowered by her before Gear 5 and stuff. Yeah, she's overpowered him pretty bad. During this time period, we're not even going to talk about how strong Luffy's gotten. And he's nervous at Big Mom, the main character. And he still can't outpunch her, despite all the training he's been through. It shows she's an emperor for a reason. Like, these beings can hit so much harder than just mountain shattering. It's not even funny. Even back in the day arcs, Luffy could do this to mountain-sized men. Like, you see this right here? This is Luffy. Look, he can hit beings this large. Like, yeah, beings that are literally mountain-sized. I'm not exaggerating. So off gate, her shaking and shattering mountains is actually pathetically easy compared to what this verse is capable of. She's one of the higher ends. She can do this with probably less than 1% of her strength. When it comes to how hard she can hit. Matter of fact, Luffy even used a higher form that's way stronger than what I've already showed you him, what he can do, like Gear 4, and tried to punch her. Check this out. It was literally no use. This shows there's a serious gap between these two because not only did she block this with ease, but she hit him so hard he actually deflated and one-shotted him. She beat Luffy this freaking easy. During this time period was his highest form. Keep in mind, Luffy in the earlier arc can do stuff like this. Punch and fold towns in half. Yeah, just to throw that out there. So she made this look easy. I want you guys to really understand how much stronger she is than Luffy. I'm talking about generals like this can give Luffy a run for the money. Like, he won, but it was a war. Like, it was tough. There was even points where it wasn't looking like Luffy was going to win. Like, these are type of beings that are under Big Mom, and she one-shotted this guy. This guy got a billion bounty. You remember this being ulti that Luffy had some trouble with in his base state? Luffy believed he needed Gear 4 to overpower her. Don't mind Big Mom. She just one-shots beings this strong. No big deal. Without even using the weapons, just her straight fist and Haki, if you're not convinced she can quake the island itself to its very core, I don't know what else to tell you. Matter of fact, destroying islands in One Piece is kind of like low tier, if we're being honest, because back in the day, a weaker member of the Straw Hats back in the day was able to defeat a being known as Pale, one of the strongest warriors in Alabasta. Yeah, this guy is strong, but compared to Big Mama, this guy's pathetic. Like, he lost to Nico Robin here. Luffy's stronger than Nico Robin. Like, yeah, this is not even, she's a part of the Straw Hats, but she's not stronger than Luffy. But this guy she defeated was durable enough, probably thanks to a mixture of his devil fruit and the fact he's the strongest warrior in this Alabasta area. He survived basically a nuclear city leveling type of explosion that was going to mess up the whole city or the whole place. And he's actually the one that grabbed this bomb that was going to blow up everything. He was right next to the explosion when he flew it up in the air. Like, based on these panels, he looked like he was right next to this. When we see this catastrophic explosion that was ridiculously wide, yeah, everybody felt the effects. Saved the kingdom. This guy survived this explosion, guys. Something that was going to destroy the whole city, all the people. And this guy's like a super low tier in this universe. He was hurt, but he survived that. Like, it just lets you know what these beings in this world can survive. So you know Big Mama hitting like a nuclear bomb is not really nothing to be shocked about. She could punch with this equivalent force probably with less than 1% of her striking power, if we're being honest. I mean, she can make a ginormous storm cloud and basically control the weather around the whole place. I mean, the collateral of these two top tiers of the verse, two of the strongest beings in the world, the collateral of them fighting without even trying to destroy the island they're on, it was threatening. Like, you see the shockwaves, yep, they was threatening the island itself from their fight. Given all this stuff or information I've talked to you about when it comes to her, that's why she's able to do all this impressive stuff to beings that can use Haki. Just because you can use Haki doesn't mean you're automatically on her level, even when she's weakened. Do you think Big Mama older is stronger than her younger self? One can argue all this stuff I'm showing you. One could argue this could be like the lower end if you want to assume her younger self is stronger. Maybe, if we assume that. I think we all could agree she still would be a walking nuclear bomb that could blast away an island with her Zeus or a fire projection or something, you know, as a younger self. Do you think young Big Mom could coat her weapons or her fists with Conqueror's Haki infusion back in these days? Or do you think she learned that in her later years of her life in her 50s or 60s? You remember this guy, Marco the Phoenix? This guy that kicked one of the highest ranking Navy military beings like Kizaru, like, remember I showed you earlier, of the Navy hierarchy? Like, this being he's literally kicking is way up here at the peak of the Navy. This gives you an idea of how hard he can hit to let you know he's not a lightweight hitting Kizaru that hard. This lets you know where she is in the hierarchy. This same being that can do that to Kizaru. I'm not saying he's necessarily on Kizaru's level either, but look what happens when he tries to face her. He starts getting overpowered. Yeah, it looks like Marco can't get out of her grip. Have any of y'all ever thought about stuff like this? Like, check this out. Usually when two beings strike each other, the point of where all the pressure is meeting is right here. This is the strongest point of impact, right? But sometimes some characters hit so hard to where other things in the environment get affected. Even though stuff in the environment down here is getting affected, it still is not feeling the full effects of it, how it would feel if they was right next to it right here. You know, the closer you are to the epicenter of the explosion or clash, the more pressure, right? So you can kind of get an idea of how hard somebody can hit by how the environment reacts to them. Like, for example, if you hit somebody right here and beings feel it from miles away, that lets you know, whoa, their hit was monumental, right? Have you ever thought about the fact that there's nuclear bombs out here, right? I'm bringing this up so you can do some critical thinking with me real quick. As strong as nuclear bombs get, even the strongest nuclear bombs, they usually never reach the clouds. They never reach stuff that far away from ground level. But when it comes to Big Mom and her clashing with the top tiers, thanks to Conqueror's Haki or Haki Infusion, her strikes, striking another strongest being in the world type character, their strikes not only reach other places, but it goes as far as reaching the clouds itself, splitting all of this down the middle. Like, that's a lot of clouds they're affecting with their strikes alone. Like, it lets you know how hard these characters can freaking hit. See, it's stuff like this that imply their strikes are way higher than nuclear bombs. Heck, there's even fan calcs, not my calcs. There's fan calculations that calculate the amount of force needed to split that much cloud in a One Piece universe would be the equivalent force of leveling multiple continents. That's what their calculations come out to. And it kind of makes sense. She's a top tier. And the destructive nature of devil fruits get kind of busted. Matter of fact, one of the strongest fighters we've seen her actually clash with in a decent fight. They fought all night. Kaido and Big Mom fought all night. Yep, stated here they'd be at this throughout the night. This apparently happened off screen of these two clashing. Keep in mind the being she's fighting, right? This is one of the top tiers of the verse 2, the strongest creature, Kaido. This is what Kaido had to say about Haki and how Haki can rule all. Kaido, somebody that's pretty credible considering he's one of the strongest creatures in the world, says a devil fruit won't conquer the seas, the better Haki will. Because Roger didn't have a devil fruit, right? And he was the king of the pirates. This is important because this is who Big Mom is fighting, and he has very valid quotes considering he's one of the strongest characters in the whole verse, strongest creature title. And he talks about how important Haki is. It's pretty much proven that Big Mom has impressive Haki. She's clashing with him. They're splitting the skies together. They fought all night. You know, it seems all that stuff adds up. This quote is interesting because there's some destructive devil fruits out there. Like, I'm talking about lower tiers that use devil fruits. They're implying that Haki can clash with this type of stuff and overpower it. There's not many ways you can interpret this, but I'm assuming what Kaido's saying is that if somebody had the strongest destructive devil fruit and you was to put it up against somebody with the strongest armor of Haki or armored Haki, advanced conqueror's Haki, like if you was to put it up against them two things and it was the clash, the Haki would overpower it. Is that what he meant? Let's look back in the past real quick with other devil fruit users that are pretty destructive, like Enel, for example, real quick. He has the blast power that can easily level islands. The Skypiea Kingdom is a place that has multiple islands. He was threatening to mess up a multiple with one blast. So this is what I'm talking about Kaido saying Haki transcends all. Does that mean no matter how destructive the devil fruit, if you put Haki, the best Haki in front of it, it can overpower it? Like, Enel is able to create blasts even when people are just staring and looking at the moon. They can see the explosion Enel created that freaking far away, saying the moon explodes. Being able to cause, right here, this could kind of suggest that multi-continental destruction is definitely possible in One Piece. And are they saying if he was to shoot a blast this strong at Big Mom, her conqueror's Haki would overpower such a destructive force? Is that what they're implying? That a Haki fist on the top tier levels will be able to overpower this? Is that what they mean? About Haki transcending all? This kind of stuff makes you think, what did he mean? That's probably what he meant. Like, if he was to shoot a destructive blast like that, the Haki would be able to overpower it. If you have a top tier enough Haki. It's one of those things that's really hard to calculate, but for you to create an explosion that can be seen that far away, all the way on Earth, that would imply some multi-continental type of destruction. Big Mama should technically by default do that. She's one of the top tiers of Haki in this universe. Haki transcends all, right? Even devil fruits like Enels that can make explosions on the moon. Right? I mean, this guy can make a dang near close to moon size explosion, or like 1/4 the size or 1/10 the size of the moon explosion. Like, it's kind of hard to tell how big the explosion was, but it was ridiculously wide and could be seen from Earth. Who's to say she couldn't do no lightning projection, because she has lightning projection too? What's stopping her from making huge destruction explosions of electricity on a planetoid like the moon, since she can project energy with her electric blast with Zeus or something? Something to think about, right? I mean, technically, what if she can do this with a flame too? Lot to think about. What do you think? You think she can do this with her blast, electric blast, or her fireball? She could make a huge explosion like this. What do you think? Yo, just the thought of them being able to create explosions this wide is scary to think about. And do you remember that soul manipulation stuff I brought up earlier? She can kind of use this stuff on herself to make herself stronger by using a year of her own lifespan, soul manipulation, to make herself stronger. Eating, getting bigger. Somehow her clothes are getting bigger too. The main character, Luffy, can dodge laser beams in his base form, and guess what? Big Mom, in combat speed, she has no problem reacting to Luffy in this form, which he's a lot faster than his base form, and she still can react to him. So, yep, light speed attack type stuff she can react to too. Yes, I know it's hard to imagine Big Mom having the punch speed to punch like this. Like, yeah, she's really that fast being this large. It's no wonder that strong fighters get one shot by her. She's a top tier Haki user that can punch ridiculously hard. There's too much narrative on her being a top tier. Even when the elders, they would know. They're like the highest authority of the government of the world. They talk about if anybody can take on Blackbeard, it would be one of the Emperor's Yonkos. Big Mama's one of those Yonkos. Keep in mind that Blackbeard is the same guy that has 2 devil fruits abilities without dying, which is something that should be impossible, but he somehow can do it. That's like a mystery right now. Despite this information, despite him having 2, they still believe that some of the emperors can take him out. Big Mama doesn't have more than 1 devil fruit, but like he may have both of these superpowers. One of his powers can actually apparently be able to destroy the world. She apparently, in theory, is one of the beings that can take him on. No, I'm not exaggerating. Blackbeard has this legendary devil fruit Whitebeard used to have. He stole it, basically. Something that can apparently destroy the very world. I know it's just a statement. We haven't actually seen him destroy the world, but when we see him doing like worldwide tsunami or earthquake type stuff, it starts making you want to believe it, especially when it's reiterated, like about the devil fruit Blackbeard stole. She's not an emperor for no reason. They're implying that some high tier devil fruits can possibly destroy the entire planet over time or something. So that moon destruction type stuff that I brought up a little bit earlier, it's starting to make a little bit more sense now, isn't it? Not to mention she's a top tier Haki user, even without her soul powers of shooting energy blasts and stuff. Without that stuff, she's a top tier Haki character. She should be able to transcend devil fruits, according to Kaido. Your thoughts are more than welcome below. There's a whole bunch of more calcs I'm not going to get into. I don't like my videos being too calculation heavy, you know what I mean? People complain about too many calcs in videos nowadays, but how strong do you think she is? Do you think she can destroy a whole planet-sized Earth? Because you know the one piece of Earth is bigger than our Earth. So an example of what I'm talking about is, for example, if somebody was to like punch and destroy all of this would be more impressive than continental, because this is way bigger than our continents on our planet, because their planet in general is a lot bigger. So they have a continent that literally goes around the whole world. If somebody was to punch and break this apart, this would be ridiculous. This would probably be automatically Planet Buster status. But that's just food for thought. Hey, you made it this far in the video. Smoothie believes you should hit a like button. I mean, you made it this far. You might as well. It really helps out a lot, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Respect the One Piece character, Big Mom. And thanks for the generous donations, everybody. It helps out. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.